GTA 6 is gonna destroy gaming, and you know what? I welcome it. Make GTA $100. Hell, make it $150. People are gonna buy it. There's no price tag you can put on GTA that people in America will not literally go into debt to buy it and play it, okay? It's probably the most anticipated event in human history. That's right, I'm not even joking. GTA 6 is probably the most anticipated event in human history. They can sell this shit for 1K all that I care. People are gonna buy it, and a lot of people will buy it. And you know what will happen? Those greedy losers from Blizzard, Ubisoft, BioWare, all of these shit tier companies that can't do anything right, that care about virtue signaling, political messaging, pandering to a literal 0. Oh wait, it's already 0.6% because reasons. Pandering to these people who are never gonna buy their shit, never gonna play their shit. I welcome it. Because those people are not gonna be able to get away with selling games for $100. A reckoning is coming, and I want it, boys. I want it.
People have no idea how crazy things are about to get. You know, first we started off hearing that Grand Theft Auto 6 could bring price hikes up to $100. Journalists and developers cheering it on. Yes, this is exactly what we need to have happen. Increase the prices. Now the shoe is on the other foot. Journalists and developers and analysts are saying that Grand Theft Auto 6 could very well be a threat to the entire industry. A game so successful and so disruptive that it could shut down entire studios and publishers.
Oh
this
no!
This is the most anticipated game of all time. And it could be the most successful game of all time, depending on how things go. And that could be...
Oh, it's gonna be. It doesn't matter what happens to GTA 6 now. It can be the wokest thing ever. No one's gonna care. People are gonna buy it anyway to just see how bad it is. There is no information that can ever be released about GTA 6 that is gonna dissuade anyone from playing it.
Be a catalyst to an apocalypse of sorts. Something that's not just going to be felt by the initial release, but could very well freeze the entire industry for months before its release and after its release. We are going to see years of overpromising, under-delivering, and failing to listen catch up to a vast majority of this industry. They have failed to stay competitive. They have gotten complacent. And because of that, one game could bring the world down around them. One game.
Yeah, all of this sounds like bullshit.
But today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the success of Grand Theft Auto. We're going to talk about the behemoth that it became, how it became that way, because we need to understand it to know what it's going to do next. And we're going to talk about how Grand Theft Auto might be so successful, it's going to shut down studios for good. Every Grand Theft Auto launch has been a moment in gaming history.
Oh, damn.
Not just a release date, but a cultural flashpoint.
You're literally supposed to save your deadbeat girlfriend.
GTA 3 launched back in 2001, and it changed everything, setting the blueprint for modern open world games by combining freedom, story, and chaos in a 3D city that truly felt alive. Funny enough, when Rockstar was trying to get funding for their new game, they approached Microsoft, who was preparing to launch the original Xbox, and they were looking for exclusives, but Microsoft actually turned them down, believing that there wasn't a market for something so controversial. And they doubted that
you always have a story like that and everything's successful.
Rockstar would even be able to pull it off. That game would then go on to sell 14.5 million copies. That's a number that AAA studios struggle to reach even today, let alone back in 2001. Vice City built on that only a year later with a style over substance.
Well, Vice City was a different beast. I love it.
Attitude.
Dude, you're either in one or two groups. It's Vice City or it's San An.
It somehow still had both, and it reached...
I'm Vice City.
17 million copies sold, and then San Andreas in 2004 expanded the scope massively that it felt like an entirely new genre. They introduced layered systems, character customization, and a layer of exploration that few games have matched even decades later. Each entry didn't just succeed, it set
Console peasant gaming detected.
a standard. But GTA's dominance wasn't just commercial, it was cultural. These games didn't just show up on the front page of gaming sites, they made headlines in mainstream news. Politicians were condemning them, and celebrities were trying to get featured in them. It was one of the very few series where controversy actually became its marketing, and it worked. GTA wasn't just a game you played, it was something that you had to have an opinion on, even if you never touched a controller. Now, by the time GTA 4 rolled around, the series had already hit sort of
GTA 4 was the only dud in the series, and 5 was a resurgence like no other.
a saturation point. Everybody knew what
I
it
didn't even play fucking 4. It just... Is this GTA? Playing as a Russian? Ah.
was, but Rockstar still wanted it to grow even bigger, and they knew if they wanted to do that, the series had to evolve. So they leaned hard into cinematic realism, storytelling, and emotional weight, foreshadowing what we'd later see them perfect in Red Dead Redemption. They overhauled systems like driving and shooting, but more importantly, they had proved that this franchise could be more than just satire, crime, and explosions. It could have soul. That shift in priorities ended up paying off, and that game ended up reaching 28 million copies sold. But then came GTA 5 in 2013, and it wasn't just a hit game, it became one of the most profitable...
Dude, GTA 5 is one of my favorite games of all time, I'm not gonna lie. It's just good. It's... The story is just so worth it. I like it. I love it. The characters seem really... Like, in GTA 5, I not once complained about dialogue. I not once complained about anything. I never was like, oh, this doesn't look real, or this doesn't... No. I never did that. It was just that good of an experience.
Pieces of entertainment media ever made. As of 2025, GTA 5 has sold over 210 million copies, with the Grand Theft Auto franchise as a whole crossing 420 million copies sold. It's not just one of the biggest video game successes of all time, it is one of the most dominant media properties in human history, second only to Minecraft. Just to illustrate how absurd that...
Minecraft doesn't even count, because Minecraft's for kids. Like, kid shit doesn't count, okay? And yes, Minecraft is literally for kids.
210 million copies sold.
You fucking adult.
Sold number is the highest selling Pokemon game of all time. Red, Blue, and Yellow sold 47 million copies. Pokemon, the world's largest franchise.
Yeah, by the way, he's not lying. Pokemon is the world's largest franchise. That is literally a generation. Multiple generations that grew up with Pokemon. That's wild power.
Franchise, full stop, as a whole, is only 60 million copies ahead of Grand Theft Auto's total copies sold. That is insane. Now, part of that dominance comes from Rockstar not chasing trends. GTA 5 did its own thing. It offered 3 protagonists, a massive and detailed map, smart comedy, great controls, and an incredibly accurate take on Los Angeles. But what really extended the game's lifespan was GTA Online, a constantly evolving multiplayer ecosystem that...
I love absolutely every inward interaction between Trevor and Franklin, okay? It is what it is, boys.
In a lot of ways invented what we see in the live service model today, and it changed the entire gaming industry. Earlier games like World of Warcraft, Team Fortress, and even Call of Duty seasonal DLCs experimented with persistent updates and monetization, but GTA Online was the first to blend Rockstar's cinematic single-player legacy with an open-ended, community-driven sandbox supported by a decade of free content and paid drops. It became a second life for millions of players around the world and a blueprint for how publishers could turn a one-time purchase into an ongoing revenue machine. I mean, as of this moment, GTA 5 Legacy and Enhanced Editions are pulling over 180,000 players combined on Steam.
Yep, I mean, it is literally insanity. And this is actually sad, because this is the reason why we did not get GTA 6 faster. Because why would you? Shark cards are... Every kid is literally trying to bankrupt their kids and buying shark cards. GTA Online is, by the way, also mostly for children, sadly. Well, there's plenty of adults who play it and it's normal, but a lot of kids buy shark cards. A lot of adults buy shark cards also. But, you know, it is what it is. And this is the reason we did not get a story expansion for GTA 5, by the way. I think we missed 2 DLCs. 2 fucking DLCs of story from GTA 5. One of my favorite games. Because online just makes more money and they were afraid that people are going to stop playing online. And Well, you get the point. Sad. Really sad. And by the way, the f- just from a financial perspective, this is so wild because you would think that making an expansion from a game this celebrated, like after 5 years of its release, would be a super massive boom in the revenue because everyone would buy it and then more people would go online. But no, they didn't think it's worth it, which is wild. Making a DLC is always so less expensive than making a full game.
Not counting Epic Games Launcher, not counting the Rockstar Launcher, not counting consoles or any other platforms. And it's continued this pace for over a decade. Let that sink in. We know this wasn't just Rockstar's golden touch because they tried it again with Red Dead Online and it didn't stick. Despite Red Dead Redemption 2 being one of the most critically acclaimed games of all time, a massive favorite among fans, the online component never reached the same scale. It lacked the same flexibility, the same energy, the same community buy-in. It's not just about making a good game anymore. It's about making one that people want to live in. I mean, if you guys think about it, Rockstar didn't even plan for what became the game's biggest feature, GTA RP. Through modded servers and third-party tools, players carved out entire identities, careers, and communities within GTA Online, completely independent of Rockstar's original vision. These aren't just small niche servers either. They exploded in popularity.
Yeah, I mean, GTA RP is super popular, and I actually like it. That is one of the rare few things I have watched on Twitch. Even though excuse, he fucking ruined it because he ruins everything he touches, literal animal. But you know, it was great. That's one of the things I watched. Also, Brazil is pretty much sole-handedly like making that shit stick.
On Twitch became homes for professional voice actors, streamers, and even celebrities, and gave rise to some of the most emergent player-driven storytelling I think we've ever seen in a video game before. While all these other studios are trying to spend millions of dollars to manufacture community engagement,
this is one of the best Trevor moments,
and force players into predefined seasonal loops, Rockstar accidentally made the perfect sandbox, and the community
oh no, this is not that one. This is different because there's multiple thoughts like that.
Then turned it into a digital stage. It's living proof that if you give players the freedom and tools instead of a roadmap, well, they'll often build something more compelling than a studio ever could. And I think that's what makes this franchise so powerful. GTA.
You know what I never understood about GTA? How do you even get any other ending than everyone lives in happy ever after? Like, how do you even do that? Like, what choices do you animals make when you kill someone?
GTA is so chaotic, unfiltered, insolent, and intelligent. It, in a lot of ways, mocks the industry that makes it. Even the players that play it and the world it represents, it connects players across all demographics because it offers something incredibly rare in this industry: freedom. It's both casual and hardcore. It can be a cinematic experience, a sandbox of absurdity, or something deeply social. And that's why when GTA 6 finally lands, it's not just going to compete with other games, it's going to compete with everything else: streaming shows, blockbuster movies, social media. It's going to dominate the cultural bandwidth again. And I think that's the terrifying part for everyone else, because for all the games that we've seen that have come and gone over the last decade, nothing has maintained a death grip on
I did not like this quest. It was boring. Everything involving this fucker is boring.
Events like GTA 5. It has been nearly 12 years since the initial release, and it's still outperforming new AAA launches. Rockstar hasn't released a mainline game since Red Dead Redemption 2, and they've remained one of the most talked about studios in the world just off of the strengths of 2 games. That's what real power looks like, and the only thing that I could really compare it to is Valve, and that says a lot. Now, I haven't played a Grand Theft Auto since San Andreas, and I just recently went back to go play Grand Theft Auto 5, trying to get some footage for this video, and it's like a time capsule. It is a time capsule for how games used to feel like to play. The character portrayals, the tight controls, the dialogue, the storytelling, the atmosphere, everything a player wants out of a game or expects out of a game is here. And the elements that we expect the least, well, they just only add to the immersion.
I never found it. I don't think I don't remember this. I kind of didn't fucking care about his wife. Like, his family is a bunch of assholes and deadbeats. I tried to grenade them.
Playing the game feels fantastic, but then you find yourself golfing, playing tennis, or maybe you're just chilling on the couch watching your favorite TV shows like Kung Fu Rainbow Laser Force, where conservative heroes are trying to fight to keep everybody virgins, or Impotent Rage, the liberal superhero that's trying to take down corporate corruption through tantrums while also owning their own multi-billion-dollar company. You know, everybody wants what Rockstar has, but nobody's been able to recreate it. Not for a lack of trying. Dozens of studios have tried to take their shot at being the next big.
The closest thing that was that ever even came remotely through to GTA was without quite well. Red Dead Redemption doesn't count, obviously, but it was San Andre. Not San. Fuck. What's it called? Saints Row. There we go. Saints Row. Saints Row could have done it, but then they kind of went a little bit overboard with the wackiness on one hand. Then well, the newest Saints Row was literally made for virgin loser woke retards, and yeah, I'm happy the company is now dead.
Crime sandbox.
I wonder who acquired the Saints Row IP though, because that shit can be salvaged so easily. I think you just go a little bit less crazy with the stupid shit. You know, make it like Saints Row the Third, the initial starts, and you're kind of doing good. You're kind of there. You know, it makes sense.
Watch Dogs, the Sleeping Dogs, the Saints Row, and we got a couple of good games out of it as a result.
Watch Dogs, right? That thing is dead.
But those results.
No one likes that. Since the moment that they made it that you can't. You can scan for people, but you can't kill them because, oh, this or that was gay.
Always end up feeling synthetic. They copy the structure without understanding the spirit. They try to capture the edge without earning the credibility. What they miss is that GTA isn't just about gameplay or genre, it's about tone, cultural timing. It's a studio that mocks the very systems it profits from. You can't fake that, and you can't buy it either. The reality of the matter is, Rockstar didn't build GTA with quarterly targets in mind, they built it with an attitude. There's a level of self-awareness in these games that most publishers would kill well before it even left the concept phase, except for maybe Cyberpunk 2077. GTA is one of the last remaining franchises where writing is still allowed to punch in every direction, where the world is offensive, ridiculous, and absurd on purpose. And I think that's what gives it life, because that is life in a lot of ways. That's what makes the satire feel earned rather than forced, and why so many...
That's actually not it. That's a complete misunderstanding of what GTA has always done. This is one of the reasons why I'm personally not really worried about GTA 6 being woke, because it's gonna have woke elements in them, but they're not gonna be woke elements. GTA has always, without question, represented the times that is being made in. It has represented the culture to an extremely fine amount. If something is popular in the culture, it's dead in GTA. So in GTA 6, there's gonna be some woke crap, and there's gonna probably be a mission where you're literally supposed to help a guy cut off his dick, and then he dies at the end or something like that because reasons. That's gonna be what happens in GTA 6. Because again, it doesn't do satire, it does current culture. And current culture always is completely insane and retarded.
Many other games end up falling flat. They're scared to say something real, or worse, they don't even know how to. Rockstar has built a reputation for itself, one that we don't normally see in the AAA side of this industry, not just for quality, but for consistency. They rarely speak, but when they do, people listen. Player expectations are through the roof right now, but nobody seems down on the game. And even with all of the AAA flops that everybody's been seeing, well, everybody just has a feeling that this game is going to deliver. And while normally I'm a skeptic, after playing Grand Theft Auto 5 and having played some of their previous games, I get it. There's something deeply human about Grand Theft Auto that no other studio can seemingly replicate. And I don't think people fully grasp how big of a moment the launch of Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be. I didn't even realize it until I started looking into the numbers and looking at the data. And how did I not see this coming? We are talking about a game that is financially, culturally, historically, definitively the game. It is one of the very few games on a very short list that I know almost everybody in the world has either heard about or played. And you can't say that about a lot of games, even if they're not gamers. If I shrink that down to just gamers, everybody's played it. I'm sure there's a few people that haven't. That is a very, very small subsection of the
Elon Musk hasn't because he doesn't like killing people.
Audience. That's crazy. That's how oppressive and significant this IP is, while also being the most controversial and offensive game ever made in a lot of ways. We're talking about a game that sold 220.
Okay. The more he talks about controversial, the less I honestly agree. Because again, I don't think the game is gonna be woke, but there have been moments where the devs have already now come out and said a couple of things. Like one of the big concerns is the fact that the higher ups at Rockstar tell the devs, "Oh, you can't talk about some of these things too much because blah 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 blah." And well, that just limits creativity. And there is no way limiting creativity ever works if you're trying to represent the world, because the world is again a wild place, very wild place, in fact.
20 million copies, bridging the gap between race, age, gender, any definitive trait. Anyone can play and buy this game. And what's funny is that flies in the face of everything that this industry stands for. Because at the end of the day, when any of these companies that are trying to reach a wider audience, and I've talked about this in the past, almost all of them, that boils down to softening the edges, tone policing, or just general sensitivity. And then you look at this game. If you look at the top 10 best-selling games of all time, they're almost all E for everyone or T for teen. And then there's Grand Theft Auto, right there in second place. You know, people dropped their jaws when they saw Black Myth Wukong reach 20 million copies sold in a month. This game...
True, that was unprecedented. I had a lot of worries about that because it's a Chinese game. Hey, listen, again, it's only a matter of time before the Chinese developers start pushing so much fucking propaganda up our asses that you think you're on goddamn Twitter.
Could very well sell 20 million copies in a day. And if they release day and date on PC, they double that number. And that's not the route they're going for whatever reason, likely because they want to double dip. It's going to work. You know, I talk about how I don't want these companies to be...
Anything Rockstar does at this point is going to work.
...be greedy. But if you're going to be greedy, you have to earn it. Rockstar's earned it. That's how this works. But that's the reason why this industry is terrified of this game right now, because there's no one that is out there, no game that is out there.
Oh, are we still talking about the industry? Oh, I forgot.
That can stand up to this thing. And that's the bed that they've made for themselves. This game is going to capture conversation. It's going to take over social media. And it's going to blot out the sun in a lot of ways.
Dude, the biggest upset is if GTA 6 is actually bad. If GTA 6 is bad, I mean, America's already dead because GTA 6 is gonna kill the culture there forever. But if GTA 6 is bad, mother of God, what will happen in the world?
There's just gonna be no getting around it. And because of that, because of how dominant this game is going to be once it releases, well, it's going to cause the collapse of studios, publishers, and games industry-wide. Today,
I completely... Did he ever explain why that's going to happen? Yeah, GTA 6 is going to release, and it's going to be relevant for literally a year, or 5, or forever, who knows. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how good the game is, even if it gets 1 billion fucking day one players, which, I mean... I'm not gonna lie. It could. No, wait, no, it's on consoles first, so it's never gonna achieve that. But it's gonna sell consoles. The last thing that sold consoles was people giving consoles away for free, I guess. But other than that, I think that's the only thing in the world that's ever gonna sell consoles. And let's be real. GTA is only a console game. The console market is a complete shit compared to Steam. No one literally cares about them. The console market is smaller than the PC market. It's not. There's GTA 6 is gonna do a lot, and every single game is gonna try to not release even remotely close to the day that GTA 6 releases, because they're going to be overshadowed by GTA 6 instantaneously in the conversation. But it's not going to actually destroy gaming companies. Like, what is this opinion?
Many companies are in a state of absolute fragility financially, creatively, structurally. In the past couple of years, we've seen over 50,000 jobs that have been lost across the entire gaming industry. Developers, artists, designers, people with years of experience are being laid off in the thousands. Entire studios are being shut down. Projects are being canceled mid-development. publishers consolidating, pivoting, restructuring, whatever corporate term they need to be able to use to say that we made bad bets and now somebody else has to pay for it. And the games that have made it to release, half of them haven't even been able to find an audience. Some of the biggest AAA launches that we've seen over the past couple of years, games with enormous budgets and years of hype behind them, have turned out to be massive disappointments. Not just financially, but in the eyes of players that they were meant to serve. The trust is gone, the margins are thin, and the cost for failure is higher than ever. So when a game like Grand Theft Auto 6 enters into the conversation, a game so massive, so dominant, and so all-consuming that it can literally reshape the release calendar for an entire year, it doesn't just make people nervous, it makes them panic. Because one wrong move in the shadow of a game like this, that's all it takes.
Imagine your kid is like this. I mean, do you become a murderer? I mean, do you? Odd questions.
In an article written by Tyler Wilde, a PC gamer, titled "The Specter of a GTA 6 Delay Haunts the Games Industry, Some Companies Are Gonna Tank If They Guess Wrong," says analyst, will GTA 6 release in 2025? That's what everyone in the business wants to know. Tyler Wilde writes, "The near future plans of many game studios depend on whether or not Grand Theft Auto 6 actually releases this year, and making the wrong guess could be disastrous for some of them," says Ben Porter, director of consulting of game industry intelligence for
Ugh. Again, this is so overblown. In any case, GTA 6 is gonna be absolutely massive. That was Legendary. Drops 10 out of 10. Bye.